From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
The affordable housing struggle in Bozeman leads to a zoning face-off in the city commission. Where and what is causing the controversy? That story coming up.
A new hazard has emerged up here in the Foothills Fire burn scar. We're worried about debris flows this spring and summer. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Hurd. I'll have a special Storm Tracker weather report.
Beaverhead Animal Shelter is making plans to expand. We'll tell you what they're asking for to help give pets a better life. That's coming up.
Well, it is 6:30 on this beautiful Wednesday morning, the 21st of April. Chet Lehman, Holly Brantley, Matt Elwell. Lovely sunrise coming up out there. Temperatures a little on the April side.
Brisk for sure. Well, the clear skies make for beautiful sunrises, that's for sure. But it also means coats in order as you're starting the day. Our temperatures across the area holding into the teens, 12 degrees in West Yellowstone. It looks like our daytime temperature should build pretty nicely. That is a phenomenal start to the day. I don't care any way you cut it. It looks beautiful out there. Daytime temperatures should be around 50 for most of the area. Light wind. It's a beautiful afternoon. We do have some changes, including the potential of some snow. We're going to break down that snow potential, the timing and amounts. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Bozeman's housing crisis is the focus of a zoning debate that rose to the forefront during last night's city commission meeting.
MTN's Gabby Crevitt explains why the Buffalo Run annexation and zoning proposal is one of the more controversial growth items facing the commission.
Last night, the Bozeman City Commission approved the Buffalo Run annexation and zoning designation.
But it didn't go without strong pushback.
Lots of hard decisions we have to make. This is one of the hardest.
The Bozeman City Commission voted 4-1 in favor of annexing the roughly 20 acres of land off of Fowler Lane and designating it as R4 residential high-density district zoning.
The Zoning Commission met late last month and heard from many residents of the nearby Meadow Creek subdivision who said they're concerned specifically with the high-density zoning designation and what that could mean for the neighboring homes.
On Tuesday night, many of those concerns were brought up again, and over 22 people opposed to the proposal commented on the agenda item that kept the meeting running until past midnight.
Meadow Creek HOA and its residents are pro-development and pro-accountability to the city growth plan. A high-density R4 designation for Buffalo Run quite simply does not abide by the city's collective goals as expressed in that growth plan, which is more than just simply high density.
Many Meadow Creek residents pushed for a medium-density designation at R3. But the commission didn't budge.
We have a responsibility to do everything in our power to make sure that diverse housing options exist for people. We're talking about creating community that can be diverse, where people have options to live, and I think this application has a really good shot of accomplishing that.
Commissioner Jennifer Magic was the only dissenting vote.
I'm not saying that this area isn't eventually appropriate for annexation and development and potentially high-density development. I just don't think it's appropriate at this time.
Reporting in Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Now, Gabby tells us construction on the development expected to start the spring of 2022.
Other headlines, Bozeman police now say detectives have definitely established that a Monday morning shooting in the city was not a random act and there is no public safety concern. And Bozeman police say officers responded to the 1200 block of West Babcock shortly after midnight on Monday. Investigators say a man was standing outside his home when a dark sedan pulled up next to him and shot him in the leg. No arrests have been made at this time, and Bozeman police add that any information leading to an arrest could be eligible for Crime Stoppers rewards.
6:33 now. The Foothills Fire burn scar is back in the news with the rainy season, thunderstorm season coming up. Soon flash flooding and debris flows are a real possibility.
Our Storm Tracker team of meteorologists Mike Hurd and Matt Elwell looks deeper into this new hazard for the Bridger Canyon residents.
We are back up here at the Foothills Fire burn scar with a new hazard that has emerged in the wake of last September's major but short-lived fire up here north of Bozeman. The earth, the ground, the trees, everything burned up here, and that is producing what's called a hydrophobic layer. Think of it as a layer of wax on your automobile, and you get that first rainfall and it all beads up and runs off your car. Well, that's exactly what could happen up here, and the concern is that there could be debris flows and flash flooding. The USGS came out with a new outlook for this area, and morning meteorologist Matt Elwell explains their findings.
The burn scar from the Bridger Foothills fire is significant. Now, this is a map of the debris flow probability. The probability is calculated by figuring in the slope angle, ruggedness of the terrain, the area burned, and the severity that that area was burned. Now, if we see a thunderstorm move through this area, dropping 0.8 of an inch of rain per hour for just 15 minutes, this would be a typical thunderstorm. The areas shaded in red have anywhere between a 60 and 80% chance of debris breaking loose. The tan color, which really encompasses the vast majority of that area, a 40 to 60% chance of seeing debris flow. This is really a big concern. Flash flooding will be a main concern for the spring and summer, and will be a significant focus at least for the next several years.
Debris flows are very common to all burn scars regardless of where they're at, but in steep terrain they become more susceptible. And in this case in particular, it's in the urban interface. So folks still live up here and are trying to recover from this major wildfire. So now we have to add debris flows and flash flooding to major concerns after this fire. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Hurd with a special Storm Tracker weather report for MTN News.
Now, Mike tells us the Bridger Foothills fire burned 8,224 acres. It was a lightning-caused fire that started on September 4th, 2020. The fire burned 400 acres on September 4th and 7,000 acres on September 5th. The fire was 100% contained by October 12th of last year.
Labor Day weekend is when that happened. 6:36 now. Beaverhead Animal Shelter in Dillon has just launched a capital campaign for a new building to replace its 40-year-old structure.
We went to Dillon to see what staff is currently working with and find out about their hopes for the future.
We had a partial roof collapse. So, there's cracks here that we can't really quite get fully clean like we could if it was a seamless kennel.
Pointing out problem after problem, Nikki Knight walks me through the Beaverhead Animal Shelter's property in Dillon.
It works for now, it's all right.
Well, she says there's a lot of love here.
He's a very good boy.
She explains the structure itself needs to be replaced.
Our facility is extremely dated and is beginning to not be the most functional place to operate. It's not super efficient. Our staff are spending more time fixing building issues rather than spending time with the animals and helping them through different mental challenges.
We sat down for an interview in one small area built a couple of years ago, but most of the building is closer to 40 years old with drainage problems and obstacles that get in the way of caring for animals.
It's kind of hodgepodge together. The original shelter was a mobile home that was converted into a shelter, and then it's just been patched on from there.
She says it's time to give the animals and community a functional space that they can be proud of. So Beaverhead's just launched a capital campaign for a new building.
Be able to have a clean facility that functions well and is welcoming for both animals and the community would be just amazing.
So Beaverhead Animal Shelter is basically just working out of a building that's patched together right now. They're doing the best they can to meet the needs of all the animals and also all the volunteers that come here to donate their time. Now, meanwhile, on their immediate wish list, they would also love to give these cats new kennels, something that's easier to sanitize that would give these pets a happier home.
It's a long time coming.
Right now they are in the early stages of working with an architect. Meanwhile, Nikki tells me since she took over as executive director just a year ago, she has been blown away by the community support through donations and through passion to give pets a forever home.
Sit. Good girl.
In fact, in 2020, they completely cleared the shelter of adoptable animals twice. Now, for the dozens of pets who still, or may one day, call Beaverhead a temporary home, she is hopeful everyone can come together and create a new space.
We're here to be a community resource, and so we want to make this building, the new building, a functional place for that to happen.
In Dillon, Holly Brantley, MTN News.
Well, of course, they're looking for special homes for all the animals, but they're looking for a really special home for one of the pets you just saw in the story. Now, Sheba is a 3-year-old female German Shepherd seen sitting with Nikki during our interview. There she is right there. Sheba came to the shelter with a high amount of anxiety, which is only magnified in a kennel environment, and they would love to see her placed in an adoptive foster home quickly. She loves her training sessions and thrives when she can put her brain to puzzles and tasks. A home with previous Shepherd experience would be ideal, but not completely necessary. They also just got about 3 dozen rabbits in. If you're interested in those, contact Beaverhead if you are interested in Sheba or any of the other adoptable pets. They're working to adopt out all those rabbits that just came in, as well as rats and plenty of cats too.
It was definitely a very busy place when we were
It was a good time.
We thank Nikki so much for allowing us to walk around and take the tour of that.
Yeah.
We wish them the best in their capital fund campaign as well.
Absolutely. We'll continue to follow that
You
story.
betcha. Good stuff.
Well, meantime, coming up here, the American Lung Association says western wildfires are becoming a real health hazard. Coming up, find out what the latest findings are, due to be released today and also ahead today.
Trouble is brewing for coffee drinkers. I'm Ian Lee with how climate change might affect your morning fix.
Ahead on CBS this morning, guilty on all charges. A member of George Floyd's family joins us with reaction to the Chauvin verdict and the significance of this moment in history. Plus, a look at what's being done to reform policing in America. We'll see you at 7.